Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to your reading for, this is your May bonus reading. You start with this Enchanted Illusions card. It says, see through the veil of illusions and have the courage to see things as they really are. You have this Inner Goddess card. It says, express your divine feminine energy and loving wisdom will transform your life. So, yes, I think that this month is a great month for you to kind of like slow things down with that Enchanted Illusions card. I feel Pisces could be having like a lot of good ideas, right? But the, especially with all the energy that's kind of going through Aries, I would say that, adding some realism to those ideas is going to be very important. It's kind of like a time where Pisces needs to make sure they don't get high on their own supply, right? You need to make sure that you are kind of like being realistic and looking at things from like a real perspective. And also, if you're doing, like, if you want to do something with your life, it could be anything great that you want to accomplish. That's great. That's a good thing. But at the same time, you need to make sure that the things that you're doing this month have legs. You need to make sure that you can actually get it moving and it's not just some sort of illusion. So I think it would be a good time for you to slow down. It looks like a pretty good reading. I mean, you end with the Wheel of Fortune, which is great. And you have the Ten of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, Chariot. I mean, really good stuff. You start with the King of Swords. I kind of feel like you are the King of Swords here. The first card, I'm doing a Celtic cross, obviously, for this set of readings. And this is how you are entering into the Celtic cross with the first card. And the King of Swords is a card of like knowledge and wisdom and having learned a lot, having been through a lot. I always say that he's kind of like the king that has been through the most wars. He's experienced the most, and he has all this knowledge and wisdom that he can use for greatness. And I do feel that the King of Swords is going to be you having a lot of knowledge and wisdom this month. I kind of feel like there are, the funny thing that's popping into my head here as well is that you are right. I feel like I've said this to you before. You're always right, Pisces, right? We're always right. You have the Ten of Swords coming up in a future position, but what I felt about that Ten of Swords is, with this King of Swords, is that I feel there's like things, just, multiple things, jobs, people, relationships, whatever. And it's like, really, I feel this month you could be seeing like why a lot of those things didn't work in your life. I actually feel like that Ten of Swords is good in your reading in some ways, because I feel like it's saying, you are saying to yourself, like, I was right about like walking away from, this job or that business or this person or that thing. And, I think this could be helping you develop like a lot more trust in yourself with the King of Swords, which definitely I think Pisces needs right now. I feel like Pisces, like one of your jobs over the next few years at least is, trusting yourself and like listening to your own inner guidance and not asking necessarily people for guidance, right? That doesn't mean, and again, there's a, I say that and I think people take it literally, and I'm not speaking literally. What I'm saying is, it's like, if there's something you want to do with your life, just go do it. Don't ask for permission, right? That again, that doesn't mean you can't ask for help or anything like that. But for the most part, I think Pisces is kind of like getting to a time where it's like no one's going to give you permission to do the things you want to do. And on top of that, mostly because you know everything. You know what you need to know is what the King of Swords is saying. It's like someone telling you like, oh, that's a good idea, or you should go do this with your life or that. It's not really going to help because you already know. So, I kind of feel this is like a confidence builder, right? It's like the universe is trying to get Pisces to believe in their own ideas, their own situations, their own whatever. Your crossing energy is the Page of Cups. The crossing energy can be what hurts you or helps you in a Celtic cross. Funny enough, the Page of Cups could be love, although you do have a little bit of love here. But the Page of Cups can also be a dream. He has that fish in the cup, but he's very imaginative, and kind of like we said at the beginning of the reading, it's almost like you could have a dream right now, but things need structure. It's like he could, on the negative side of things, the Page of Cups can maybe be too dreamy. He could be like unrealistic, or he could be fantasizing too much and not bringing reality to the situation. This is going to be a big theme for you, Pisces, definitely with, especially once Neptune officially enters into Aries next year on January 26th. This is going to be a big theme for you. I would say that the good news for Pisces is that we also have Saturn going into Aries, like pretty much at the same time. So, not really at the same time, but you catch my drift. Saturn will be moving into Aries. But I think that Saturn in Aries will bring the realism that Pisces needs. So there's like help, right? I also think it's great. Like I would be a little bit more worried about Neptune and Neptune and Aries, if it was just Neptune and Aries. But since we have Saturn there for like 3 years, once Saturn goes into Aries, I feel that Pisces will actually get a little bit of a boost from this. It will probably like add the responsibility that you need to, take to make things happen and all that other good stuff. So I think this is good, but I would just make sure you're adding structure to your ideas, and you're kind of like making sure that it's a reality. The other problem I see for Pisces here in this reading is like taking on too much responsibility, kind of. It's like I think you are too used to having to like work super hard. But I think it would be better for you to say like, I'm just going to do this one thing, and just be hyper efficient on one thing. You will get a better result. And so mark my words, I think there could be like a little bit of temptation over the next few years, starting now. You probably already feel this, where you're saying like, oh, I need to make money, I need to fix my financial situation, so I'm going to work on 19 projects, right? That is probably a bad idea. So I think working on one thing at a time is also, and this goes along with keeping something realistic. Like, is it realistic to work on 19 things at once? Not really. As someone who's tried it, I can tell you it's not realistic. I now have like multiple things that I do, right? But I had to build up to that point. I have employees that take care of businesses and things like that for me. So it's like, if you have to get to that point. And I think that's what this reading is saying, is that the realism is that things have to build over time. And if you do that, it'll be much faster than trying to do everything at once. And so that's definitely an important message. Next, in the area of what's on your mind, you have the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles is living the good life, right? Wanting to be successful, wanting to feel abundant. I mean, it's coming up in the area of your mind, or what's on your mind, or your thoughts. So you are thinking abundant thoughts, which is great. And you do have the Ten of Pentacles here, which is great. And the Wheel of Fortune, which is great. So definitely you could be thinking about ways to fix your finances or improve your finances. There's kind of like one little last push here this month of you thinking about your home as well. This is like the last month that Jupiter will be in Gemini, your 4th house. Even if it's not your 4th house, doesn't matter. Jupiter will be leaving in the middle of June. Will be leaving Gemini, like I said, your 4th house. The Nine of Pentacles is about your environment. So we have this snail right here, and the snail wears its home on its back. So the Nine of Pentacles can represent creating an environment of success, or, surrounding yourself in a positive environment. Like, the best example I can give you is this right here. I used to shoot against this plain wall over here, and then I switched to this direction, and for whatever reason, I feel better shooting my videos in this direction, right? And so you never know how like tiny little changes in your environment can lead to, better feelings, more success. I feel more productive because I feel better going in this direction. It looks better to me, at least. So you never know, right? Next, in your foundation, you have the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups can be a knight in shining armor, of course. There's like, we'll see what comes up when we clarify, but there could be a little bit of love coming in for you if you're hoping for love. I kind of feel like this is saying ground your dreams. The Knight of Cups is very dreamy. He's very imaginative. And it's coming up in a foundation position. The whole reading, the first part of the reading really is saying to me that your dream needs a foundation. It needs kind of security. It needs legs. It needs support. So I would be thinking for the rest of the month of May, how can I add more support to my dreams or my ideas? How can I make things more realistic? How can I ground things in reality? And that's what I feel the Knight of Cups is encouraging you to do. He's standing in the desert, but he has this water flowing in front of him. So even if you think that there are restrictions, which is basically the desert, right? Nothing grows in the desert. If he plants seeds in front of that water, they will grow. So even if you think you can't do something, I would still try to do something with this card. Next, in your past position, you have this card. It says, show the world the real you, full moon in Aquarius. You have this step out of your comfort zone, North Node, which the North Node is in Pisces at this time. So definitely a time for you to show the world the real you. It's like, I do believe Pisces will be shining bright over the years. It's literally your job. I talk about this all the time. I think that it's Pisces' job to kind of be an inspiration for the rest of your life. And so a lot of you could be doing that. It's a great time with the North Node in your sign to like really step out of a comfort zone. And on top of that, in the past position, you also have the Two of Swords. she also needs to step out of a comfort zone and go over here to this island over here. She's trying to protect her position, right? She has those swords over her heart. She's protecting her heart on this card, and she has this blindfold on, which the blindfolds in the tarot can represent needing to trust your intuition. So again, I think, the good news is that this is coming up in the past. I do feel, as a Pisces, like I can't even tell you how many times I have not trusted my intuition, right? It's like I do this for a living, and you'd think that I would trust my intuition, but there are many times where I've doubted it and things like that in the past. So I think Pisces is getting to a point where they are believing that they are right. You are always right, Pisces, with that King of Swords, like I said. So I feel that you are maybe starting to believe that you are right about things, and that you are, I think there's like a billion things rushing around my head. Like, I don't even know what to say, because like I feel there are situations where it's like you knew something wasn't right, but you invested in it anyway, and then you had to like learn the hard way after not to do that. I would say the good news going on here is that you're probably not going to be wasting time again. So, I feel like you've learned like what to look out for, what not to waste time on, and all this other stuff. I also feel like you're no longer trying to like people please with the Two of Swords. This is a card of mediation. She's trying to bring two sides together sometimes, and I feel you're no longer trying to do that. Next, in the very near future, you have this Minstrel card. It says, let your intentions be known. You have the Seduction card. It says, passion and romance await. There you go. Definitely could be like a romance coming in for you. You could be very attractive at this time, Pisces. Of course you are. You're a Pisces. And only attractive, smart people watch Minnow Tarot. So, this is just simply a fact, of course. But, might be a good time to put yourself out there. I feel like this intentions be known card, I feel like it's saying, like, speak plain. Like when you're meeting people, for example, like if you are dating, I like don't hold back. I feel this is saying sometimes I think we date and we don't tell people certain things about ourselves, whatever it is, because we're afraid that they won't like it. But I think Pisces has learned to kind of like speak up more, and maybe even over the last year, I should say, from like now back through 2024, I feel maybe you did find yourself speaking up more already. It's like you've been training to do this. And this isn't just in love either. It's like this could be in work or business as well. And so it's like Pisces is really kind of developing a backbone here, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. Also, in the very near future, you have the Chariot, which could be a victory or a big success coming in for you. The Chariot is about setting yourself apart. I do feel Pisces is being pulled in a new direction. I don't think you are exactly clear what that means or like where you're going, but you are probably feeling pulled towards something new. It's like if you have a job or a career that you've been doing for a long time, you might just have this like sense that you need to do something different or that you're ready for something different. So I definitely feel that with the Chariot. Some of you could be moving. If you haven't already moved with Jupiter in your 4th house, then you could be thinking about moving. The thing with Jupiter is we can do whatever the energy is like after as well. So you might be thinking about moving or thinking about traveling with the Chariot, and I think that would be good. I feel it's a great time for you to get into alignment with exactly what you want as well. He's in perfect alignment. He has these stars up here, these moons right here, represents as above, so below. So because he is in alignment with what he wants, he gets it. And I feel that that's going to be, alignment is kind of going to be important, Pisces. Next, in your outcome row, you have this message in a bottle card and this here and now card. Yeah, I kind of said this at the beginning of the reading, the whole present thing. The here and now card basically says be present and be in the moment and don't try to rush ahead too much. I kind of said this on the King of Swords. I just get this feeling of like working on one thing. That's also what I said on the King of Swords, but that kind of goes along with being present. It's kind of like, working on what you can with what you got with what's right in front of you. And that's the energy I get here. Definitely could be a lot of communication. I actually feel like you're entering into a very communicative time where like a lot of people are going to be communicating with you. I feel this could be both good and bad. Like you're going to need to make sure to put up those boundaries, and it's like you might have to say no to some people because people might really be wanting your time, and it's not like you don't like those people or anything, but you only have so much time in a day, and I feel you're also entering into a busy time, and you're going to need that time for yourself, right? So I think that there's also something about like boundaries with communication in the month of May. Like, there might be people who want to talk a lot on the phone or whatever, and you might have to cut things off and learn how to do that, right? You have the Ten of Swords in the area of the next few months. I kind of feel strangely good about this. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I feel a lot of you over the next few months could be looking at things that didn't work out and seeing those things as a good thing. The Ten of Swords can represent a blessing in disguise. He's making this symbol right here with his hand, and that symbol kind of represents the death of, or represents a blessing. Same symbol the Hierophant is making on his card. So you could be seeing how things from the past, everything. I don't think this is one thing. I think this is multiple situations that you're thinking about, that where you're saying I'm glad that didn't work out in the future. I do also feel that some of you are kind of going through a transformation. We'll see what happens when we clarify, but I think you could be letting go of a past, something from the past, like a past job or career, and it's like you're rebirthing into something new. In the area of your closest relationships, you have the Ten of Pentacles, which is an amazing card for your closest relationships. This is all relationships in your life. So Ten of Pentacles is like a lot of support. It's family, it's building, leaving a legacy. Some of you could be building a family if you have a person. Some of you could be thinking about building a family if you have a person, and even if you don't. This could also be you working with family or people that you consider to be family in your life. This could also say that you are getting a lot of benefits from the right people in your life. The other thing that I feel for Pisces is that you could be seeing the type of person, let's say you have a business. I feel some of you could finally be understanding who it is that you want in your business, right? It's you understand this type of person is my perfect customer. And so it's popping into my head that way, that you could be identifying the perfect person to work with, in business or career. And I feel that would be very good as well. I do feel good about money in this reading as well. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is still feeling stuck. So again, you're watching tarot so you can avoid this. I always tell people tarot isn't oh, you're screwed. Tarot is, hey, this is something that's coming up, which you can work with the energy and fix this now so it doesn't happen. And Eight of Swords is only looking at one way of doing things when there are many. So if you are stuck in any area of life, I would start doing research and start learning about it, because you will probably discover another way of doing things that will be very helpful. So, I would start researching with the Eight of Swords. I would start looking and planning and all that other good stuff. Your outcome is the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune, of course, can represent a change in your fortunes, which is amazing. I feel like you could be feeling very fortunate. I also kind of get this feeling that, this might sound very simple, but I feel that you feel that you're getting back on track. I feel the Wheel of Fortune, I always say, is my card of the washing machine of life. You're getting, tossed around all over the place. Most people don't take control of the wheel, so they just get tossed all over the place. But when you take control of the wheel, you get it moving forwards, then good things can happen. And so, the trick with the Wheel of Fortune is to take care of any challenges that pop up in your life very quickly, and to double down on the good stuff also very quickly. And when you do that, you're taking control of your destiny. And so a lot of you could be kind of getting back on track here with the Wheel of Fortune. And funny enough, Pisces, sorry, I just dropped half the deck, but your bottom card on the clarifying deck was the Wheel of Fortune as well. So that looks amazing. But let's get into this, and let's see what also wants to come up for you. With the King of Swords and the Page of Cups, you have the Eight of Wands. Yes, like I said, I think that there's a lot of communication coming in for you. I think a lot of people are going to want to be talking to you, not just in May, probably, throughout the rest of the year, honestly. So, but I would make sure to put up those boundaries. If there are people that are wanting too much of your time or whatever, you don't have to be mean, of course, or anything like that. But, you can just limit the amount of time that you give to people, because I think that you also are going to be very busy. It's you have your own stuff that you're going to need to accomplish, and I think you need to make sure that you do that and you don't get distracted, right? But Eight of Wands is very good. This could also be communication and love. I do feel some of you, there isn't a ton of love in this reading, but if you want it, there definitely could be communication. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Seven of Cups. Again, another fantasy imagination type card here with the Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups kind of says, he's looking at those cups. There are good things and bad things in those cups, but he doesn't really know how something is going to go. Like, he doesn't know if he can attract his fantasy. He doesn't know if he can manifest it, whatever his dream is on Earth. But really, again, Wheel of Fortune, if you take control, you will. The thing about the Seven of Cups is it basically says, like, don't defeat your own dreams. He might be getting to a point where he's thinking of good things and bad things that could happen if he manifests his dream, and he might get to a point where he says, well, I know this won't work because these bad things could happen, but he never really tried, right? So I'm a Butterfingers today, apparently, but again, he that's not good. He needs to try. He needs to at least try to manifest that dream. With the Knight of Cups, you have two cards. You have the Magician and the Death card. The Magician, if you want love, you could have been asking or praying for love, and you could be getting it. We do see some death imagery in this reading. Ten of Swords, Death card. So there could be a transformation that you're kind of like undergoing. Even the Magician is a card of reinvention or reinventing yourself. I think I've said this to you before. I think it's an amazing time for Pisces to like really embrace the energies of like what they want to be. Like what you might want to be something. You might want to be something when you grow up. And the Magician just says, adopt the habits, adopt the belief systems, adopt all the other things that go into that, and you will become what you're trying to be. With the Two of Swords, you have the Knight of Cups. If you do want love, this basically would say that you haven't been getting like what you want. Like nothing has really been tickling your fancy here, Pisces. And this would be much more clear, this right here. So, it's like maybe you haven't really been finding what you're after. And then you could be all of a sudden getting very clear on a person and saying, this is exactly what I'm looking for, which is good. With the Chariot, you have the Ten of Cups, which is amazing. We have the Ten of Cups to the Ten of Pentacles. I love these two together. This could definitely represent fortune after difficulty when, these two come up together. So there could be a lot of improvements. Also amazing for family, since this is coming up in the area of your closest relationships. And, this is your very near future. So a lot of you could be charging towards a very joyful, happy situation with the Chariot. Definitely could be love, but it could just be something that you do love. So I like to see that. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Devil. I would be careful of past people for sure. Anyone who stabbed you in the back, anyone who, did you dirty or anything like that, I would be very careful. I would also be careful of sneaky people as well. Like, I would really trust that intuition. Like I said on that Two of Swords. It's like if you feel something, you're probably right, 99% of the time. So, I would say over the next few months, if like someone seems sneaky or if people are being sneaky or you don't trust a person, there's a reason for that and you need to trust it. With the Ten of Pentacles, you have the High Priestess. Whenever you show up in the area of your closest relationships, it really just says that you are present in your closest relationships. And also, it's exactly what I said. You are getting a lot of attention. You are standing out. Same thing with the Devil, because, the Devil can be an energy vampire. So, this basically could say you need to protect your own energy, not even just this month, but over the summer, and make sure that you're not getting involved with any energy vampires. Now, an energy vampire does not have to just be a person. This could be a habit, it could be a job, it could be some place that you go, it could be anything. So I would be protecting yourself. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Four of Pentacles. It's like letting go of the old story is what I think Pisces needs to do here. The story that you can't do things, or that there are limitations, or that there are things that are holding you back or whatever. And it might be true. There might be certain limitations, there might be certain things holding you back, but your job is to release those things and to do it anyway with the Four of Pentacles. I would also be careful of like comfort zones here, or like being too comfortable. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be comfortable, but what I am saying is like don't get lazy over the summer, with the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles, like sometimes I feel this with the Eight of Swords, Ten of Swords, Devil, it's like this could be you saying like, oh, I'll just take today off, or I'll just do this next week, right? And so none of that don't do that. Basically, I'm not saying you can't take breaks, because of course you can, but what I am saying is like don't let a break turn into 6 months of you doing nothing, right? You can take a break, and then get back to work the next day, right? And so I think this is about kind of maintaining momentum. The Chariot and the Wheel of Fortune are both cards of momentum, so something to pay attention to. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Damn. So it's like you could very easily be creating this vision with the Nine of Pentacles. You could very easily be attracting, that Nine of Pentacles energy, which is like a card of gratitude and luxuries. And so I feel a lot of you, that's what you should focus on. Again, the only fly in the ointment here in this reading is the Devil and the Ten of Swords. So that could be like past people. It could be energy drainers, energy wasters, and those could be people or your own habits. And, I kind of feel with the King of Swords as your first card, it's like the only enemy is yourself with that King of Swords as your first card. So it's like saying, this might be a good month to conquer yourself, as in like bad habits, time wasting, things like that. You have this Teapot card. It says deep friendship with someone of the same sex. Yeah, I think it's clearly an amazing time for people for you, but it's going to be an amazing time for amazing people. And you need to focus on those amazing people and not the people that just want to waste your time, right? So, clearly you're going to have to be able to tell the difference. You have this bird flying. It says news is on the way. Eight of Wands. Definitely Eight of Wands can represent communication coming in for you. Again, if you want love, definitely could be communicating with a new person. And, could be any sign. You have basically everything here. Fixed signs stand out to me: Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo. But again, you have Pisces, Aquarius, Scorpio, water, Capricorn. Literally could be any sign that's coming in for you. But I definitely feel there could be communication. You have this owl card. It says good advice from a wise person. I think Pisces likes old people. I don't know. I did especially when I was a kid. I only liked old people, right? And so I feel that there could be like older, wiser guides in your life this month, and those are the people that you should be listening to. Those are the people that you should be paying attention to because they probably have the best advice. You have this crown. It says honor and respect will come to you. Yes, exactly. But, it's like people who say yes to everything and anything aren't really respected, right? When you make yourself scarce, then you kind of increase your value. And I feel that a lot of you are working on that, on increasing your value and kind of claiming your crown. You have the shark. It says, take care, there will be loss of material wealth. Yes, definitely Devil, Ten of Swords, right? I think it's kind of boring because I think Pisces always gets messages like this, but it's like money looks good, but don't be a Pisces. Don't be wasting it on things you don't need, right? So I definitely feel this is like a long-term thing for Pisces. You're going to have Neptune in your second house. You're going to have Saturn in your second house. You literally have to be disciplined with your money, right? And you need to not invest in illusions as well. So that goes for time and money. So I would pay very close attention to that. But this looks very, very good as long as you avoid the devil, right? Things that are energy drainers, energy wasters, including your own thoughts, right? Like if you're thinking negatively, that will drain your thoughts. So don't do that. But other than that, looks very good. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your May.